All right, tonight we've got a classic Big Bash showdown. The Sydney Sixers taking on the Melbourne Stars at the legendary SCG. And this is way more than just another game. It's a real clash of cricketing philosophies. And believe me, the data tells a fascinating story about what it really takes to win. So, let's dive in.
So, the story of this game really boils down to two things: fortress versus form. On one side, you've got the Sydney Sixers, who have just methodically turned their home ground into an absolute stronghold. But then, they're coming up against the Melbourne Stars, a team that's rolling in undefeated and just brimming with aggressive match-winning talent. It really is the ultimate test, right? Home ground smarts versus just raw, unstoppable momentum. And that sets up the big question we're trying to answer here. Can the Stars' all-out power-heading game plan actually work on a ground and against a team that seems perfectly designed to just, well, dismantle that very style? As we're about to see, the numbers have a pretty strong opinion on that. Okay, let's get into it. Section 1, fortress versus form. This is the core tension of the whole matchup. We're really looking at a collision course between two totally different ways of thinking about how to win a T20 game. So here's the matchup in a nutshell. You've got the Melbourne Stars, who are undefeated. Can't argue with that. But then you have the Sixers, who are, well, they're practically unbeatable at home, winning a staggering 63% of their games at the SCG. So the real question becomes, are the Stars' explosive hitters going to defy their own pretty poor records here? Or is that methodical Sixers control just going to prove too much once again? All right, section 2. To really get what's going on here, we first have to talk about the SCG riddle. Because this isn't just any cricket ground, It's a place that demands control, and it has a very specific personality that kind of dictates how you have to play. You see, the SCG has a very clear code. It's a control-first kind of ground. You just can't overpower it, you have to outthink it. And there are 3 keys to doing that. First, you absolutely have to dominate those middle overs. Second, pace bowling here isn't about raw speed, it's all about discipline and clever angles. And third, spin is king. It just relentlessly builds pressure and forces mistakes. And here is the killer stat that proves it. -1.1. So what does that mean? Well, that's the drop in batting average for a team chasing a total, right when they go from the power play into those crucial middle overs. Now, I know -1.1 might not sound like a massive number, but trust me, it's the data point that shows you how this ground just systematically squeezes teams. The pressure builds, the run rate stalls, and then the wickets start to fall. So, knowing all that about the ground, you start to see why the Sixers are so good here, right? It's no accident. Let's look at their blueprint. They are the architects of control. Their entire game plan is built specifically to exploit these conditions. And I mean, just look at this. The data paints a really stark picture. The Sixers win almost 63% of their games at the SCG. That's a testament to just how completely they've mastered this place. The Stars, on the other hand, they win less than half their games here. So you see, this isn't just your standard home ground advantage. This is something much deeper. It's structural. And their team is just built perfectly for this. I mean, look at their bowling attack. It's tailor-made for the SCG. You've got the tricky left-arm angle from Ben Dorjvis, and then the relentless discipline of a guy like Sean Abbott. And then you flip to their batting, it's not about brute force, it's about smart accumulation. Guys like Josh Philippe and Jordan Silk are absolute experts at navigating the rhythm of an innings here, instead of just trying to blast their way through it. Okay, let's flip the coin now and look at the other side. The Stars' dilemma: firepower versus a hostile environment. Because the Melbourne Stars, they're walking into this match facing a pretty big problem. The best way to describe the Stars' dilemma is with an analogy. It's like they're bringing a sledgehammer to perform delicate surgery. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are in incredible form. They have the best team batting average in the entire BBL. But their whole game plan, which is built on raw power and just all-out aggression, it's completely mismatched with the control-first nature of the SCG. And when you look at the numbers for their biggest stars, it is just brutal. Glenn Maxwell and Marcus Stoinis, they're ranked 3rd and 6th in the whole competition. These guys are elite. But when they play at the SCG, their batting averages just plummet to 20 and 18. And let's be clear, that's not just a slump. It's a very specific venue-related problem, and it's one the Sixers are custom-built to exploit. So where does this all lead? While all of this data points to one specific part of the game where this whole thing is going to be decided. It's not the power play, and it's not the death overs. It's all about winning those middle overs. So from over 7 to 15, you've got 2 completely opposite game plans. The Sixers' goal is simple: squeeze. They're going to use their disciplined pacers and their spinners to completely dry up the boundaries and just force the Stars into making a mistake. The Stars' only path to victory? They have to disrupt that squeeze. Maxwell and Stoinis absolutely cannot afford to get bogged down. They have to attack before that pressure really takes hold.
You know, there's a quote that just perfectly sums up this whole tactical battle. It says, "The game will be won or lost quietly in the battle of wits between the Stars' star batters and the Sixers' disciplined attack from overs 7 to 15. So forget all the fireworks at the end. This match is going to be decided by the strategic chess match that's played right there in the middle." Okay, so we've looked at the ground, we've looked at the teams, and we've zeroed in on that critical battleground. It's time to put it all together and get to the data-driven verdict, a tale of two strategies. And when you break it down factor by factor like this, the picture becomes incredibly clear. Venue mastery, advantage Sixers. The right kind of bowling attack, advantage Sixers. A proven batting plan for this ground, again, advantage Sixers. The Stars are banking on a high-risk, mismatched strategy, with their key players really struggling here historically. The data is, well, it's pointing pretty heavily in one direction. So our verdict is in. The fortress looks like it's built to withstand the storm. When you look at all those deep structural advantages they have at this ground, the Sydney Sixers have to be considered strong favorites. Their dominance here isn't a fluke. It's by design. But hey, this is T20 cricket, right? Nothing is ever a certainty. So what's the path to a Stars upset? Well, it really relies on a complete outlier performance. Essentially, Glenn Maxwell has to do the one thing the data says he struggles to do here. He's got to defy his own poor record, completely disrupt that middle over squeeze with high-impact, super high strike rate innings. It is a very narrow, very high-risk path to victory. So ultimately, this game is about more than just runs and wickets. It's a real test of cricketing philosophy. You've got the Stars, bringing all the red-hot form and firepower that's crushed teams on other grounds. And then you have the Sixers, with this deep, almost institutional knowledge of their home turf. And at the SCG, history and the data tell us the same thing. Knowledge and control are almost always the more potent weapons. Subscribe to Cricket Data Viz for more data-driven match previews, deep analysis, and smart insights before every big game.